boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, class swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Who is ready for a Monday? Man, I think trading is the best thing in the world. You get excited for Mondays and almost sad for Fridays. It's crazy. It's crazy. But we got Chuck in the house. Good morning to you, CJ. We got Albert. Good morning. Alex. Good morning. Amy's in the house. Andy. Good morning. Brian Thompson. We got Cindy K. She's gonna be crushing trades again. What do you have? 75 hours last week, Cindy? Don't lie to me, Cindy. Don't lie. At least 75. That was probably a minimum. Good morning too. We got Doug. We got Goat 80 in the house. Good morning, Gerline. We got Jay, JT, Justin, Kevin, Martino, Rick, Rock, Fullwood. Not at the barbershop yet, but maybe sometime this week. Good morning to Rock. We got Ron in the house. Good morning. Sean Bell is with us. Tanya, good morning to Win, Wally, all my peeps in YouTube land. You guys are signing in. I know I just hit the stream a little late for you guys, but good morning to you guys. If you guys are on YouTube, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, that like, subscribe. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's pull up the SPY real quick. I just got to charge my phone, otherwise I'll forget. All right, cool. All right, SPY. Off to a good start. I'll put APY. SPY. We got not a lot. Not a lot. Little bit of a tiny gap up, about $1. So not bad, not great. We still do have to go a little bit more. So we do have to get into. I mean, the positive news is we are gapping up. So for bulls, there's something. Probably find a little bit of support at 452.75. So that's where we definitely have to stay above pre-market. However, we do have to get above 453.83. We're not quite there yet. If we get there, we're into a little chop zone to 454.11. And then probably we do at some point, at least, whether we go much higher than this or this is a spot for rejection, I think we do have to eventually hit that 455.18. So I think we could make it back. We got a ton of earnings this week. Lots of big companies earnings. We got Jerome Powell speaking this week. We got a heavy, volatile week. I do think we get some volume back into this market, and that should make it break one way or the other. Let's just see where we're sitting at on a monthly chart for right now. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big candles. This candle's still live, but we're sitting green. We have almost a little double top-ish on the monthly. So this is going to be obviously a very important week. And I think we have the 31st is Monday. So we still have we run this candle up till next Monday. So still 6 more days of trading to figure out what this candle actually looks like. And if this thing is we have some horrible earnings and Jerome Powell's a mess and everything like that, and this is a huge blow off top and reverse hammer or something like that, we are extended from those moving averages. Not saying it's going to happen, but right now on a smaller time frame, all moving averages still in that bullish direction. We're still just pushing like crazy, and probably a little inside candle. I don't know. Maybe we get an inside candle for today. At least I think opening morning shop. I would think that. Not sure if we have any news that comes out during the day or whatever, but Wix gapped up pretty nicely this morning. Yeah, I do expect some of that volatility. Wix is probably a good play if you picked it up on Friday. Q's a little bit of a gap up, just under $1 at this point. So again, nothing too crazy. Q still looks a little bit weaker. I would think that where are we compared to that 10 EMA? 376.48. So we're below that 10 EMA still. So that's going to add a little pressure, but yet we are above Friday's VPOC. So that should be a little support somewhere at 375. No, probably a little higher. 376.20. So we're off of the VPOC, but not by much. Not by much. We'd have to break through the 10. If we could break through that 10 and hold, the next stop would give us a decent move, decent pop in the Qs to 379.85. So those are the levels I'd be watching. If we do break down the VPOC, again, there's also a lot of free fall room as we're under the 10. There's no moving averages. There's nothing really holding us back until probably about 372.74. So either way, we have a good potential, I think, decent run. The question is which way. For right now, I'll have to continue bullish just because we are above the VPOC, but that's the level I got to watch very, very carefully for sure. At 9:45 is manufacturing news, says Ron. Okay. So 9:45, no matter how correct we are, we'll probably be wrong. I like it. I like it. Let me change my chat from host and panels to everyone just to get ready for that. Let me just also log into the broker for a second. As I do this and just get set up for the day, if you guys have tickers you want to take a look at, make sure you guys throw that into the chat pane. We will pull those up in just 1 second. I think Netflix got an upgrade to $500 today. We'll check that one out as well. Let me get the day trading sheet up and running just to be sure. All right, all good here. Perfect. BEA, beautiful. Grand Rising. We got Michael says good morning. Rado says good morning. And Thy Kingdom Outreach says Grand Rising. I've never heard that before. I like that. I'm gonna steal that. That is fantastic. Grand Rising. That might be my favorite good morning quote so far. That's my favorite morning greeting, I think. Grand Rising. All right, so Netflix, we did get an upgrade. We were still below yesterday's VPOC, so that so far is not having an effect. I think this gap and go is still probably playing. And I do think we probably have to get back down into this maybe 419.71. Somewhere in that zone. So 419.71 is probably the next spot on that one, unless we had some kind of gap and go, something like that from the upgrade. But now we're starting to get upgrades in. Right now, no effect on it. So probably still a little bit more of a pullback there. So we could keep Netflix on the list for potential short. Let me get this up here. There we go. We watched DWAC yesterday or Friday. I keep saying yesterday, but we missed the trade because I was just too slow. We tried this one. I might be still keeping this on the list just because later in the day I was watching, I was like, there's still some very beautiful support, very beautiful consolidation, and it could still make another pop. I don't expect it to do what it did last time. We were trying to get in like right here on that opening candle. I think somewhere around 1676. That would have been a fantastic trade, but it is consolidating. I don't know if it's going to have as much momentum today to push it up higher. Probably targets where you want to take profits today, 2162 if we could get there. But right now, still kind of a little bit of gap down. So I'm not going to be as eager to get in. The one I might be a little bit more eager to get into is AMC. Not just because of Barbie and Oppenheimer, but I think we do have this one trending a little bit. We had the 8 ticker, I think, drop to 65 cents, 70 cents, something like that. And then because it wasn't potentially going to get passed through SEC, and then it might. So AMC is going to be on my list today. That could be one. I think there's going to be more focus for a short squeeze on AMC than DWAC today. But for my short squeeze play, that's where I would be looking. We do have a moving average right here above us. Why is TradingView being stubborn on me today? All I want to do is get a little higher. There we go. Keep that on the list for today. See if we make any move. We do have a little bit of resistance up here. We do have a moving average coming in. It is a decent gap up already. I mean, we're up $1.20 on what closed at 440. So already a good move. We do have potential to squeeze further on this one as well, but we have to get through this little area. Probably clear 591. Anything above that, I think, looks decent. So if we can get any pullbacks, we might be able to set, like, what I would love to see is give me some kind of red candles. Try kind of what we're trying on DWAC. We just did not get the candle to close. But if we get something like that, that would look decent. Again, we have a little bit of resistance up here. So the fact it's stalling out here, okay. Maybe could run, maybe not. Lurking says BA. Check out Boeing. Pre-market says below the 10 EMA on a daily. Yeah, it is below the 10 EMA. Right now, it is a little bit of a gap up. So you do have a little bit and probably pushing with the rest of the market. I think this would be one if the market does start to come down to watch this one. But right now, we do have a little bit of a gap and go. Typically, a little bit more bullish sentiment. I do agree, obviously, that this is below the 10 EMA. The 10 EMA, I think, is going to act as some type of resistance. So it might not be a high flyer in a bullish direction. And if it could get us a setup for a breakdown, I would say anywhere under 212.01. So essentially anything under 212 would be decent. I think next level we get down to is probably about 211.11. And then a little bit further, 210.68, providing nothing crazy or big happens. But those, we definitely have two wicks, a lot of selling pressure up here. This looks a little head and shoulder-ish. If we expand it out a little bit further, this left shoulder is a little far away, and this right shoulder is a little bit tighter. I'd like this one to be a little spread further, but nonetheless, you still do have some similar left shoulder. Sentiment's still the same. Bulls got up there. They got it up one more time. They tried. They failed a little bit. And it does look like it is trying to break down. So most likely, I think, probably leaning bearish is a good call. But with the little gap and go, I'm not sure. We'll move this up a little bit higher on the list. I can see a little chop coming in on Boeing. I just don't know if you've been bullish, and this is my thought process on it. If you've been bullish on Boeing, right, and you've been holding, you're essentially still in a big chop pattern where you're like, you're not going to sell because you are gapping up a little bit. So you're like, okay, you're feeling good. If you're bearish on it, it's not a huge gap in a bearish direction that makes you want to kind of act on it. So we'll see. Tesla. Tessie. Tesla. I don't know if you guys saw, but Twitter is no longer Twitter. Now it's X. Just changed overnight. So Elon making some moves to Twitter. This thing has been bearish for the last, obviously, 3 trading days. You are into a little support at open, but we are breaking down that wick. This one looks like it could probably continue. If it doesn't hold this opening level, this 256.68, probably even a little lower, 256.36. It starts to break that. We have a really nice trade down to 246.42. All right, let's get Tesla a little bit higher on the list as well. At least any of the bullish attempt, and we're still inside candle technically, just at the very bottom. We do need this one to drop a little bit. And if we can get it, fantastic. AXP. I believe they had a downgrade as well. So they had, looks like they came out with earnings on Friday. Essentially in line in terms of revenue, surprise beat to the upside. But I think they did have a pretty decent downgrade. I don't know who downgraded them. Let's see. Yeah, I guess you could watch Mattel because of Barbie, but I don't know. Shopify, Chevron, Tesla. AXP dropped more than 1% pre-market trading. Oh, Piper Sandler downgraded the stock to underweight from neutral. So They didn't put a price target on it, doesn't look like it, but it does look like it got the downgrade. This one does have some room if it could drop a little bit further. So we're kind of at that support, still inside day, very similar to Tesla, except there's a bigger wick that we're trying to take out. And if that one breaks down, yeah, we should have room probably to about 163.08, at least in a longer term picture. That would be a big candle for AXP today. So even if we go to a little bit safer, 164.79, but there's definitely some room on this one. We'll keep this on the list. We are at a little tiny support, but add some downgrade support to pressure to that thing, and maybe J&J retest gap. Yeah, definitely a retest gap. I don't know if I'll be able to make. I could probably make $1.95 on the way down on trying to catch the retest. I don't know what's going to happen from the retest point. Probably look to go long. I don't really see too much in the way. Next real target on this one takes me somewhere into this 172.91. So I got about $1.60 to the higher side. Again, about 95 cents to the down. I would think that if this one fades down lower, at least we have a better opportunity for risk to reward to take it long. But yeah, I agree. I don't want to be bullish on this one as the market opens. Let's see if this thing comes down, especially after those last two, or at least one ginormous candle and one hefty candle for sure. So if this one comes down, probably looking in the long direction, but it's moved a lot already. And if I was to put $1, what did I say target was? Probably somewhere in the 172. So if I put a stop at 172.85, if I want to short this thing, because it could retest and keep going, and if it does, 168.43. I think I still want to remain a little bit bullish. Longer term, I think we could get into this 176, 177 zone, somewhere up there at least. So I'll see if this one pulls back first. Let's add this one to the list if it's not already. J&J. And healthcare has been strong the last few days. So we've seen a little bit of rotation, just even as we saw the Qs. The Qs are a little bit weaker than SPY. We've seen, I think, a little bit of rotation into some of the healthcare, some of the energy plays, which in a bull market is fine. Even though we're seeing, I think the Dow had 8 straight days in a row, or was it Nasdaq, or was it? I think the Dow Jones had 8 straight bullish days, which we haven't seen since 2017. So I think we're still in a bull market, and you can get rotations in bull markets, which I think is essentially what we're seeing. We're moving money from tech into some of these stable names. But I think if we survive earnings, and okay, it was only Netflix and Tesla that kind of dipped on earnings, and some of the other stocks hold up, we can see a rotation right back into tech, and that would be a buying opportunity. UPS. But again, we're going to get the information this week. UPS is a little bit of a gap and go. We still got a little wick at top. I would treat this a little bit more like a retest. You are at some kind of support. I think the better spot to short 186.63 if you could get back up there. If this thing opens and drops immediately, I would place target maybe 184.27, but that's below the 10 EMA, and that's going to be a little bounce spot too on a daily. So I don't think it's going to be the easiest short. Let's see if we can get this thing a little bit higher before we decide to short this thing. But you do have some good volume, a little bit of a blow off top, almost bull trap out of the gate, reverse hammer. Pretty fantastic signal for, okay, maybe take some profits if you're in this thing. But to get into this for right now, with the 10 right there, add a little bit of support. See if we get this thing to fade higher first. I think playing this thing more like a fade might make more sense. Let's get this one a little bit higher on the list as well. Continue to stalk. Yeah. You got those moving averages starting to kind of correct themselves as well. I didn't even get EPS that high on the list. But watch that 10 right there. So see if we get a bounce off that 10. What I would love to see is something a little more like this and then come down. That would be fantastic. Whether it happens or not, who knows? But and again, also we still have 9 minutes to figure out where this thing wants to open. Now we're opening below the 10. That could add a little bit more excitement to it. All right, let's see what else we got. We got Luis says DJ 200 EMA weekly for Teslas at 251.06. I mean 261, 251.64. I don't know why I can't read numbers. It's Monday. It's Monday. That's all I can say. 251. Got the 200 EMA for the weekly. Yeah, just in terms of volume areas, right here is where they have to save it. The bulls have to come in to save Tesla here. If not, there's really nothing in the way besides maybe some of the moving averages, which again, it's powered by numbers. The moving averages are essentially meaningless to me, at least, because they're just telling you the average of where the candles have been, not where they could go. And I don't see anything really stopping this thing until that. But yeah, you could have an arbitrary 200 in there as well. So definitely good spots to watch. BDX, Becker Dickinson and Company. I feel like I've looked at this. I think I've looked at this one before. Nice gap up, huh? What was this on? It's not even on earnings. They got news, maybe an upgrade. Yeah, this thing is quite the gap. It looks like it has done nothing in the creation of this company. At least since like 2017, this thing has just been relatively range bound. Maybe not no more. Maybe not no more. We had a good run. We've done nothing for 6 years. Okay. I don't know how this thing was going to trade whatsoever on a day trade basis. My guess would be volume's kind of light, but with all of that sideways, 6 years of sideways chop. I mean, if you got in this thing anywhere in the last 6 years, you probably would consider this your worst investment you've ever made in your life. Even if you've been in stuff that goes down 100%, you're like, I just hate Becker Dickinson and Company. I don't know why I got into this thing. It's essentially the same thing as losing, but really, really good gap. I'm wondering if there's going to be some profit taking first. I think that's probably how it rolls. Somebody's going to want to take some profit from anybody that's shorted this thing ever. Anybody that's been sitting in this thing for 6 years probably just says, cool, what a gift. And they look to take some profits at the open. So I think this is more of a fade. Longer term, though, that might be a very interesting play. CVS gapping up. Man, every time I look at CVS, ever since I started talking about CVS, and I have not been able to get into this thing, I wanted to hang out there a little bit longer, just a tad. That's okay. It's all right, DJ. Let it come to you, DJ. That looks like an interesting gap. Again, we've already kind of broken out. CVS, first initial target 75.85. I don't think that's a huge one, but probably looking into 76.30 for today. It is a gap and go just inside. We are slightly above the VPOC from Friday. This is a little bit of, for me, I would let this thing, because this is an indecision candle. Usually high waves cause a little bit more of just sideways chop for a little bit after. So let's see if there's probably a little sideways chop in this thing. Otherwise, I'd be sideways chop to bullish sentiment. Lulu. What do I got? 5 minutes. Lulu, and then we'll take a look at Mara. Lulu Lemon. Same thing. Inside day from Friday. Small little gap up. We would have to get through. So initial target on this one would be 383.65. So it doesn't give me that much room to the higher side. About 65 cents. And right where it's at now is where it has to hold. So if this breaks, it's 382, 82 zone. Or right where it kind of closed. That's where it's got to hold. If not, probably the 10 is the next spot. And then I'd be looking for targets about 380.75. But again, a little bit of an inside chop day for Lulu so far. Mara, M-A-R-A. Mara, gap down. Technically a little retest gap. Let's see if this one could get bought up first. But it does look pretty shortable. Let's get this one on the list. Target onto this one, at least immediate target would be 1573. I think it has the ability to drop a little bit further too. So this, just because this is not even a 50% retracement, 50% retracement is probably going to take us to about 1397. So we do have some room to the downside on this one. But see if we get that retest in there first. DPZ. With this one, make sure you guys have wider stops if you're going to try to trade this one. This looks like a really, really good gap. DPZ, we gotta put this on the list higher. I kind of hate the fact that it already did a massive gap, but it is a cute little gap for sure. This one, still inside of this candle, which is where we've been hanging into. So if we get a pullback into 393.28, that would be a very interesting spot to look long and see if we could continue up from there. But otherwise, good little break of this peak. All of this move has been happening with inside that high wave. So be careful of that. But if it does pull back, it looks decent. And who doesn't love defending Domino's if it's real pizza or not? It's half the battle. Meta, a little bit of a gap up, still in the very low range of Friday. We are above Friday's VPOC though. Could give you a good risk to reward type play. So if this swing, if you want to throw a stop at like 291.21, essentially the low of Friday, the closer you get into like this 295.20 zone. And then first target would be probably about $300, 376 cents, something in there. So you do have your defined stop of where this thing should not get to today, if it's going to remain bullish. If it starts to break down, really probably 291.90, and we start getting a couple candles that hold there, the next target to the downside would be 287.56. So yeah, a little bit of a gap up. We do have earnings this week again on a lot of tech companies. This one is coming in on Wednesday. My guess would be after the market closes. So double top. How does people want to play this thing after it's had a massive run? And we've already seen what happened to Tesla and Netflix after earnings too. So there's probably a little bit of concern and worry. And worst case, people might be a little more interested in taking profits before Wednesday on Meta, as they might not have been so concerned with it before Thursday when we had some of those reports come in. Was it Thursday or Wednesday last week? I forget. We got 40 seconds left. Ay. All right, let me get TOS up. Let me get TradingView moved over to the other screen. And I definitely want to get some AMC over here just in case we could do something quick. Meta we talked about, so we'll leave that one up there as well. What else did we look at? DPZ, I do want a little pullback on that one. Could be interesting. And we'll keep bowing up there. But there's the morning opening bell. Everybody out there in YouTube land, you guys are absolutely fantastic. Be careful. Lots of news coming in this week. We'll be with you every step of the way. We do have free week coming up next week as well. Meta's throwing a little bit of a high wave. Amazon's already kind of running. Boeing could give you an opportunity if you think long on this one. And AMC is interesting. Do I set AMC up? But everybody on YouTube,